So few. I mean, most of the population thinks it's just fine, but they've really held us all to hostage. Well, certainly the government, 3 levels of government. Yeah, so it's a little volatile.
Yep.
I say the truckers are needle wimps. They're afraid to get a shot.
I don't know what it is, but they're holding the governments. They're stuck. I mean, it's really the chances of this becoming volatile and dangerous are really high. So I don't know. It remains to be seen what they do.
I'm shocked. Canadians acting.
I know. I can't believe that we're actually experiencing all of this.
I think it's the bad influence from your southern neighbor.
Well, yes. I agree. I think there's a good number of them that are pushing and participating in this, actually.
Yeah, funding it.
Yeah. Yeah. But right now, it seems that the, federal, provincial, and municipal governments are feeling like they're over a barrel. They don't want the whole thing to go up literally in smoke.
Yeah, it's
bad. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think the residents of Ottawa have had it, and many of them have just haven't slept in a couple of weeks, several weeks, two and a bit weeks. The noise and the harassment is not good. Anyway, life goes on, doesn't it?
definitely.
You're
Am I
back home
correct?
now, Tom?
Sorry?
You're back home now?
Yeah,
No, not in New Hampshire.
no, not in New Hampshire. We're still down in Southwest.
Oh, okay. Not at home, but not your home, yes.
We're our winter home.
Winter hideout.
Winter escape.
The alternative to Chiang Mai.
Not this year.
This, we hope, November this year.
Who knows?
Who knows? Line.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Alberto and everyone.
Hello.
Morning, everybody. How are you?
Hello, Alberto.
Middle of the night stint, Alberto. Night shift.
Early morning. Let's say early morning.
What time is it, Alberto? What time is it?
Just past midnight, 1 a.m.
Oh, whoa.
That's not
Well,
morning.
it's still morning, isn't it?
You go to
Technically,
bed
it's,
first, or you just wait until
morning.
after the session?
Well, we really all appreciate you doing this, and the transcripts and the summaries that you send. They're wonderful. Alberto. Yeah.
It's just, it's good. I really like doing them.
Great. Oh, thank you. So Tom, is it still cold down in New Mexico?
Oh, it was
No.
almost 60 during the day today, 60 Fahrenheit. But at nighttime, it does get a little below freezing.
Or more.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The desert experience, eh?
Yep. Yeah. And we're 6,000 feet above sea level, 2,000 meters. So, yeah. So it's very dry, which is good.
Yeah, you don't want it wet under those conditions.
Yeah, New Hampshire's wet.
It's snowing, isn't it? Tons of snow.
Not now, but it could. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm trying to,
I think you're right clicking.
Hello, Tadao. We haven't heard your voice for a while.
Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
Well,
Good to hear from you today.
Well, thank you.
I think Ajan is here now. Sawadika, Ajan.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Yeah,
ได้ครับ
sorry, Kappa-san.
we have anyone wanting to start us off? I don't remember.
I just mentioned a few comments that I found helpful last week and this week. There's been a lot of emphasis on understanding the truth and not the words, because otherwise, whatever topic we bring up about sila or awareness or virya, without any understanding, it's always I, my sila or my awareness. And last week, I think there were some good comments that were made about wasting time about thinking of I in the past. I think Zita mentioned about joy and fearful, and it's so easy to just be thinking about my fear or my joy that happened and forgetting about understanding the truth now. So it always has to come back to now, now, and now, understanding what appears now. Otherwise, it's just the story of all these different realities that we've read and heard about. So I've found this emphasis very helpful.
Otherwise, it's only just pariyatti, patipatti, patiparita. But the understanding, even at the level of pariyatti, has to be understanding what is there as it is. Otherwise, what can right understanding understand without what is there as the truth, that it is there by conditions? Just begin to think about what is there and reason the truth as much as that can be developed as no one and no thing, because that's the point of understanding what is there, no matter what and when and where. It's there all the time, but not known as just a reality. No one there at all. That's why keep on build up or have more confidence of the truth, so that there can be the understanding of what word Buddha just thought about, all of realities in life as it is, one by one, little by little. For example, there are so many moments now unknown, moment of seeing, moment of thinking, moment of liking, and so on, unknown. But the truth is that it's all the hidden because of ignorance, not understand at all what is there as it's just that, only that, which is conditioned to be just that and only that, and then gone, never to return at all. No matter now or what. What about the experiencing of hardness now, unknown? And when it's heard about what is there, it begins to pay attention little by little to that, as it's so true at that moment. It's only the moment of experiencing hardness, nothing else at all. But it doesn't appear as it is. That's why it's hidden, because no understanding. And that it conditioned the attachment to that object so very rapidly, very quickly. Whatever is there is the object of ignorance and attachment. That's why the way to understand the truth The Four Noble Truth, the ultimate truth, is that it's there only that at that very moment. No thing and no one appear together as something like we think about what is touch, is table and things, but actually just the moment of touching. So how can there be anyone or anything? Develop the understanding to have more confidence of life is just in a moment of experiencing, no matter what and when. Even at moment of Pawanka, as the moment of birth, what is there? By conditions, karma, condition the moment of birth, and all other karmas, which is not the one which condition the birth, can condition different moments when it's time to see, to hear, to smell, six ways. Only that in samsara, only that by conditions. Something is conditioned to be that which experience, as it has experienced, it's gone all the time, non-stop at all. Is this not true? No one can do anything. So we don't have to do anything. And to understand that even understanding is only a reality. It arises and performs its function to know or to understand the truth, little by little. What is there is the object of understanding the truth of it. When there's more hearing, considering wisely, beginning to have firm confidence of no one, this is the point, and this is the end of pariyatti and patipatti and pativeda. So it's just very natural, very, very normal by conditions, by condition as it is so normal. No one can change, no one can do anything because what is there has risen and fallen away already now, anytime, just to learn to understand the truth that actually life is not ended as long as there is ignorance and attachment to conditioned moment of birth on, birth and death on and on. One day this will come. See, who can stop? That's the way it is. No one there, but no understanding that it's not me at all. It's just moment of conditioned reality, no matter to born or to die or to see or to hear, whatever is said. That's why the stream of Bhavanka is always continue on and on until it's interrupted by moment of seeing and then gone. Hearing cannot arise yet, as long as what is seen is there before it has fallen away. See, this is the way life is to be understood only to let go the idea of self, because it is so strong clinging to that which is seen, which appears as not it is at all. That's why as long as it appears just like now, it's impossible to let go the clinging to the idea of something there. Even there is no understanding of the truth. It's something. Even such sound is heard, and it's not known as anything. That can be the moment of thinking, what is that? See, something all the time. And that is because of not understanding the moment when it's there and then it's gone. Nothing. Again and again and again. That's why right understanding can understand how much ignorance and attachment and all dhammas in life has been accumulated from moment to moment to condition different moments in different life. That's all. And then gone, never to be returned at all. So now what's the use of hearing and seeing and thinking and other things without understanding? And then it's gone. The moment of so very pleasant moment, which one likes so much, never to arise again, and then gone, everything. So the truth is that actually there's no one, but there are different realities, like ignorance is there now, unknown, until Buddha had enlightened the truth. So he pointed out the truth of each moment as it is, to be known as there is no self at all. And that is the way to understand the truth. At this very moment of understanding develops by itself because it understands, and there's more hearing, more considering, more confidence of the truth. That's the way it is, unknown. That's why Buddha pointed out what is there now, Citta, Cittasika, and Rupa, and told us about the absolute characteristic of each one at moment when it's there to be known. And when there is the understanding of this moment, it can condition understanding of other moment, because this moment is seeing, other moment in future is seeing again. Different ones, but the same characteristic in life, 6 doorways. That's all. That's why without hearing, considering the truth, there cannot be any understanding of what is there at all, as usual from birth to death, each life. So the development of understanding is so truthful to the truth of what is there to be known, because the understanding is different from ignorance, far apart. See, even there is the word about it as it's not self, it's a nama, which means a reality which experiences an object, because that is that which is seen. Whenever they see, there must be that which is seen. So when there's no seeing, not object which has been seen, still there, impossible. But there is a reality which remembers whatever is there. To think about it and think about it as it's there all the time, because of not understanding that now is not just previous moment, impossible to be the same, because different conditions to condition such different reality, all that by conditions. So this is the way to understand, not the way try so hard to let go. It's impossible. What can let go is the understanding of the truth of what is there. So just understanding, that's all. Because understanding performs its function as not clinging, no clinging to that which appears, because beginning to understand that it's not there forever, or it's not there after it has gone instantly, little by little, just understanding. And understanding does not hurt at all. It just develops the understanding of the truth, the way it is, no I. But the clinging to the idea of self is there so much that some people wouldn't like to understand it. Even it's so true, but it's so maybe not kind true or kind truth, because it hurts kilesa, because kilesa, the ignorance attachment, want it to be there again and again and again. Even not this, what about next thing? By conditions as something there to be attached because of ignorance again and again and again. That's why when there's the understanding of the truth of what is there, there can be the understanding of what Buddha taught in very profound manners of reality. So very deep. Why it's so deep and profound and subtle? Because even it arises and falls away each moment, it seems like it's there all the time. And the penetration to let go all that covers the truth is there when it's strong enough, directly understanding the nature of what is there as it's heard from the enlightened one. No doubt about the enlightenment of the Buddha. no doubt about what is there, because it's one's own understanding of the truth. That's why just develop from hearing and considering, not I can do, or I will do, or I'll try. Impossible. Even that moment is a reality. Whatever is there must be a reality, a conditioned reality, arising and falling away unknowingly. So the understanding begins to understand just one reality at a time. Even there are many together, but only one appears to be known little by little. No, just hope to have such and such as object, because it's impossible. That's the lopa again. So lopa has to be known as it is the second noble truth. Why people do not understand the truth, because at that moment, no understanding of the truth, and there is a reality which clings to that object instantly by accumulation. That's why panya cannot attach to anything at all. It let go wrong understanding and attachment little by little at moment of understanding. So natural, so normal, as usual, by conditions. And that is the only way to understand what is there as is conditioned, because it arises by conditions, the accumulated conditions. So it's just that and gone. Even right now, it does not appear well as it is, but with understanding, by understanding that very moment as just a reality, different from the other moment. For example, seeing is not hearing at all. But now they seem that they are together. While we are talking, there is sound heard, and also what is seen, how repetitive the way it arises and falls away in split second. But it can be known because of its different characteristics. They cannot be the same. They have their own proper conditions. Like seeing needs the eye base, and hearing has to be conditioned by ear base too. Because without ear base, as the vara, the sound cannot be heard at all. That's why we begin to understand each word of the teachings. What is the vara? And what citta does not need to have the vara, but it experiences without any vara. And what is meant by the vara? The vara is for experiencing what is there, when is there, by conditions as Dhamma. Condition the eye base, ear base, and when the reality which impinges on it can impinge on it, has impinged on it, it conditioned hearing to hear that word which is there, not fallen away yet. And what is the vada? See, learn to understand what is there now, here, any moment, that actually there are different dhammas. That's why we listen to dhammas, to the truth, because dhamma means the truth of a reality. There must be a reality so that it is true, that is there as it is. The truth is that it has arisen by conditions and then gone. That's all. Every moment in life until the end of the karma, to be this person, not to be this person anymore. No one can stop the arising of death. It's just the moment which perform the function of deprived from what is there as this person. Because before death, there must be the karma which condition birth and condition bhavanga and condition birth at the end. But before birth, there can be the other karma which condition moment of seeing different things. Some is pleasant and some is not pleasant in life. And many other conditions like different reality which can experience, but it's not as that which is the chief of experiencing the object clearly. But that cannot be understanding. It's just the chief of experiencing what is there to be like different colors or different sound, different smell in life. That's all. So what is there after this life? Gone completely, never to return. So what is there now is just that arising and falling away from moment to moment. No matter it is what type or what kind of citta, which is there now, never to return, but it conditioned the next moment by Anantara Pacaya, many conditions for each moment to arise to be just at that very moment. Only once in samsara and then gone. So what's the use of this life? Experience different things and then no more. Never think about it, as we cannot remember last life. And this life is next life's last life. So it is there for a very short moment and then gone. Never be known. Then death comes and next life is there. Forget everything. And even in this life, that cannot be the moment of remembrance, each moment as it is. Yesterday, what did you do? Where did you go? Where were there? Nothing, but no understanding of what's the use of yesterday. It's gone, never to return. So what is the use of seeing right now? It arises in false way. No one can stop the way it is. And that is the absolute truth of what is there. By conditions, only that. But as long as there are conditions for whatever to arise, it has to arise because there are conditions for the arising of that particular reality. Only that and then gone. Not remembered. Like yesterday or this morning, at moment of wake up, and then what's done. Do you remember? Just gone. And then attention is at this moment as something because of ignorance again and again and again until hearing the words of truth to be considered, to understand the meaning of the word. Just talk about the truth of what is there as it is. So it depends on considering whether it is interested to understand the truth. Another reality, different cetasikas are there. That's why Buddha pointed out what is there as different realities. Citta is not cetasika, and cetasika is not the same as the other cetasika. Different characteristics, different conditions in life, all are only conditioned reality from moment to moment. So we can understand what Buddha said because it's there. What is there now?
And I think this is a very important point, Jan, because often people think of pariyatti as in terms of details and terms and meanings, but actually, like you said at the start, it's about the truth of what is there right now to be understood, because it's only this kind of understanding of what appears now, what is the truth at this moment, that can lead to the development of understanding and to the development of satipatthana. But if there's no careful considering of the truth now, then the understanding will never develop. And I also thought it was a good comment you made that truth hurts the kilesa. The kilesa don't like it. The lobha clings to having moments of seeing last, what is seen last, the idea of I being in control. So the Kalesa object a lot or protest, as someone mentioned, to the truth that there are just different dharmas arising and falling away by conditions now. So many helpful reminders.
And that is the meaning of pariyatti. See, not just the word, but the truth to be
Has to
known.
be. Has to be now, otherwise it's put off for another time, another place, another object. But it always has to come back to the understanding now.
6 doorways only. And Bhavanga, not experience what is there in this world when it's there, because the world is that which is there, arisen by conditions.
One small, oh, okay.
Go on, Sarah.
I was just going to, one small point. We mentioned that seeing, we know there are many conditions for each chitta to arise. So for seeing, we know there has to be the karma. We know has to be the visible object that's impinged on the eye sense. We know there has to be a nantrapachya. We also know that there has to be pakatu upanisya pachya conditioning each moment, each chitta. So the moment of seeing now is also conditioned by pakatu upanisya pachya. When we're referring to the pakatu upanisya pachya in this connection, Ajahn, can we include the visible object and the eye sense as the pachya for that seeing by way of pakatu upanisya pachya? We can't hear you, Ajahn.
Excuse me, I forgot to turn on. I think that when there is the understanding of the Pachaya, like Pakatupanitsaya, we don't have to name or call it anything at all. But when we heard about it, there is doubt about it. But when there is the understanding only, there's no doubt about any word, because that is conform with the nature of reality. For example, now, Pachaya is conditions. There are so many conditions. And that's why we have to understand why each moment is different. For example, some moment is conditioned by karma, but the other moment is not conditioned by karma. So what is karma? See, just to learn the truth of realities by the way it is, that's the meaning of pakatupa, natural, pachaya, pakatupa, nistaya, pachaya, see. Because it's there to be conditioned. Like the eye, it's there as condition for seeing naturally, because what is the eye? It's arupa, which has the extra or different from the other rupas, not hard, not soft, but it's only that which the rupa can impinge on it. And we call it rupa, but we understand that it means the reality which cannot experience. That's why when there is the understanding in one's own language, or not think more about the Pali, for example, there is seeing. See, we don't have to use Jakku Vinyana because it's the same. What word is there? Seeing is seeing. When there is the understanding of seeing, there's no doubt when there is the moment of hearing Jakku Vinyana. So when we understand the truth that the eye must have a condition which has to be the rupa, which is the special rupa, which is different from other rupa. Otherwise, without the eye, the blind one cannot see at all. And this is natural condition. So it is pakatupa nisya patiya. So pakatupa nisya includes everything which is there, it has to be conditioned for the other thing because it's there. Like seeing, see, and it conditioned that which experience object. So without the object, as Aramanapajya, can there be seeing? And that is also Pakatu Panishyapajya. Everything. When we study, we understand the truth. But when there is the understanding and come across the word Pakatu Panishyapajya, it's there, understanding the meaning of it. That's why we can study the truth and understand the way it is and understand the Pajya, no matter what Pajya, like Nisaya, it has to be that which be a condition for seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. So without the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body, how can it be seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching? So it is natural way of conditions.
Often we tend to think of Pakatu Panishyapachya as referring to the accumulations, but actually what is conditioned are all cheetahs, all chaitasikas, not just the accumulated tendencies. And as you say, the Pachya can refer to any reality at all, any rupa, any nama. And for seeing, there has to be the rupas which condition it in this way by Pakatupanishyapachya. So I think it's helpful. Thank you.
So from now on, no doubt about Prakatupanisya,
No.
whatever is there is a Pajya, depending on whether by what way of Pajya. For example, visible object is a Pajya for seeing as Aramana Pajya. Naturally, Pakatupanisya Pajya covers everything.
Such a wide and broad Pachya. So, as you say, including everything. Thank you, Ajahn. Azita, go ahead.
Sawadika, Tanachan. Hello, everybody. My question is about doubt, Vichikiccha. Occasionally, like, for example, I was sitting in a shopping centre the other day, and I was just going over some of the things that I've heard in these talks, and suddenly it just occurred to me, look, I had doubts, like, is this real? Can namas and rupas really be experienced by panya? But it was even more vague than that. It wasn't so clear, but it was just a real feeling of, I doubt this. So can you please speak a little bit about Vichikiccha, please, Ajahn?
Okay. Is there a reality which is doubt?
Yes. Well, yes. Yes, there is. I mean, I read about it and I believe doubt arose the other day. I mean, it probably arises a lot, but certainly it was really, quite doubtful about, can this be real? Is this whole story real? So yes, doubt is real.
Doubt is real, no matter what you call it, Vichikiccha or not, or change it in one's language from Vichikiccha to doubt. See, it's there. If there is no reality which is doubt, how can there be the word doubt to represent that reality with that word? Not seeing or hearing, but it's doubt. So it's moment of doubt, but it's not known because no one can understand the reality as it is if that person hasn't realized. But Buddha taught about all kinds of realities in the worlds for universal. That's why doubt is there, but no understanding of it. The Buddha has enlightened the truth. So what is doubt? It's a reality. It experiences the object of doubt because of no understanding. And at moment of ignorance, just ignorance without doubt is there too. But when there is doubt, it's different from moment. When there is only ignorance but no doubt. So doubt is a reality, only that. It's real, but it's not self. The point is understanding the truth. And the truth is that whatever it is only that which is not anything else, no one and nothing at all. This is the way to learn to understand the subtlety, the depth of the truth, which is there now. But ignorance cannot know it, because when there is ignorance, not understanding, and the other moment, it is ignorance with attachment to that which appears. And when attachment is there, how can it understand the truth? But even clinging attachment can be known as it is when it's there. And only right understanding can understand it as just a reality, a reason by conditions. That's why Buddha taught for 45 years about the conditions and about what is there when it's there, as it is. If doubt does not arise now, and we talk about it, it's vain, because we talk about that which is not there. And how can there be the understanding of doubt when doubt is not there? But when doubt is there is no understanding of the truth of it, as it's a different realities from the other. It's doubt. It's a reality. It cannot understand. And not just only ignorance, there is doubt about that too. So doubt is a reality to be known as no one and nothing. And it's nama. We use the word nama in short, because whatever experiences is there, it is what we say, nama. Not just nama and nama, but not understanding what is nama as it's now. So when doubt is not there, we just talk about it, but we don't understand what is there, because we just think about doubt, which is not there. But when doubt arises, no understanding about it, because no understanding of this moment as just a conditioned reality, no matter when and what and where. So the understanding at this very moment can condition understanding of whatever. Seeing now is seeing in 10 years ahead or 10 years ago. So the understanding of the truth, no matter what, can condition the understanding of that which hasn't arisen in that life before as it is. For example, seeing now, is there any understanding of it? If not, how can there be the understanding of seeing today or tomorrow after this moment? That's why understanding has to understand what is there little by little. So when it's strong enough, no doubt about what is there, as that which is the reality which can experience an object. No word like doubt when it's there, no word, no thought about vichikicha or any word, but the characteristic of it appears. Is it me? Is it anyone? How can it arise? Who makes it arise at all? This is the answer for anatta, no one and no thing, uncontrollable, not in anyone's control at all. And this is life from birth to death, and even right now. That's why we use the term sati for a reality, which is aware of the truth of it, as it's only that different characteristics, one at a time, but without understanding, no conditions for sati to be aware of anything right now.
Thank you, Achan. It's good to talk to it. And what you've just said about doubt is really helpful, because it surprised me when I occasionally when it happens and I there is doubt. But you're right, it is just another reality that arises and is there for a moment and then gone. And the other question I have is about Nibbana. I was thinking not so much about Nibbana and what it is, but well, yes, I was thinking about what it is, and I was sort of comparing it, with say other beliefs. They believe that there's a heaven or something they will go to. And I thought, well, Nibbana is nothing like that. It's the end of all conditioned realities. And that made me think more about what I've heard over the years of conditioned realities, that we take attachment for self, doubt for self. And so when it's all eradicated, well, I don't know what Nibbana is, but I guess, it's the end of doubt and dukkha. That's what I understand. So I guess I was either contemplating it or doubting it. I don't know what it was, but just to hear you speak of doubt as a reality, that's really helpful, Ajahn. Thank you so much.
If there's no understanding of whatever is now, can there be the understanding of what we used to do, Nibbana? Impossible,
Yeah.
because it's the end, no arising of that which is conditioned to arise. As Titi say, who knows how fast it arises after seeing? It's there. Without understanding that, how can there be the understanding of moment when there's no such conditioned reality? But it has to be stage by stage, because only the understanding can realize the truth of it. But when there's no understanding of this moment, it's impossible, no matter we try to think about it, because it's not the understanding of whatever is now. So how can there be the understanding of that which is not here and now? That's why Nibbana is for understanding too, not just to think and try to know it and on, but to understand this moment will lead to understanding what Nibbana is, the end of Lopa with wrong understanding. What does it mean? There are moments of Lopa without understanding. But as long as there is condition for whatever arises, it has to arise. But Nibbana doesn't have any conditions to arise at all. So we learn to understand conditions, to understand what is there now as it is, which is different from Nibbana. That's why there must be the end of ignorance and wrong understanding, which take everything for something and self. No more at all in life from then on, no matter in what life ahead. That's why the understanding of the truth has to be developed very carefully, that understanding is there or not. For example, even while we're talking about seeing right now, what level of understanding seeing and that which is seen is quite far away from the way it's deeply now arising and falling away. We just talk about the skin, what is there, which appears, but the truth is so long, so deep, that it has to be penetrated by right understanding, little by little, to understand that actually what we take for the whole world, in truth, is just a moment of experiencing an object right now. See? And there must be no doubt about what is there. little by little, letting go the idea of self, strong understanding, more confidence of the truth in any moment in life, daily life, right now. Otherwise, it cannot be the end of ignorance and attachment to the wrong understanding. So when we talk about anything which is not there now, is it useful? Because it's time, useful time to understand what is there instead of thinking about that which is not there at all.
Well, I think we think about all sorts of things. So that was one of my other questions was, why do we often think similar thoughts? I mean, occasionally I'll think, oh my goodness, I'm back to thinking about this again. So is that just because we've accumulated that kind of thinking and it's why we keep thinking the same thoughts? For example, I sometimes think, oh, I wish I didn't have these thoughts. I wish I had something completely new to think about. But, it just goes back to the same old type of thinking. So, yeah, so what is that about? Why do we keep thinking the same thing? Because of accumulations?
Is it you?
No, it's not me.
How can anything arise without condition?
Well, again, nothing can arise without conditions, but I guess what I'm seeing is there's a very strong sense of I, not all the time, can't be all of the time, but most of the time.
At moment is a moment of forget the truth about it, that actually there's no one, but there are different conditioned reality. That's why we learn to understand what reality conditions such moments to doubt or to be I. Otherwise, the I and doubt cannot be get rid of.
I think it also maybe there's just not enough confidence in Buddha's teachings, although sometimes I'm overwhelmed with confidence and gratefulness to have heard the Buddha's words. So again, yes, different moments, different realities. So I so appreciate your reminders, Ajahn, of the different realities that arise and then disappear and never arise again, although sometimes it feels like they've arisen again, but of course it's a new arising. So Ajahn, thank you so much.
That's why each word which is heard should be considered carefully to understand the truth of it when it's there. For example, the reality which experiences an object always forgotten in a day, just thinking about that which is experienced by that reality which arises to experience it. That's why citta, we use this word, but is there any understanding of citta as a self at all? Because even at that moment of saying, it's citta, who said the self hasn't been eradicated yet. That's why it takes quite a long time and so very subtle to understand what is there, which is no self, on and on and on and on. In the beginning, it's not yet time to let go the idea of self, but to understand it, and only understand can let go what is there, which has been accumulated quite long, so long, eons and eons. So the truth of that which there must be wrong understanding because of ignorance about what is there. until hearing the right word and what is meant by Buddha, the enlightened one, and what is meant by the enlightened one, the one who enlightened the truth of what is there. So clear, so great. Nothing cannot be known by such level of right understanding. That's why each word which is heard from him just talk about the truth of what is there now to develop the understanding of the truth. Not just try to let go or not just want to let go, but the understanding, the truth is there to perform the function of letting go. So when there's no understanding, it's impossible for oneself, for anyone to just try to condition moment of letting go, because even that moment is conditioned. So very subtle. That's why the path, the Four Noble Paths, is so very subtle, because it's this moment, all realities arising, performing their function, and right understanding is conditioned by many conditions too, to arise little by little, to grow, to develop, to be sharp, to be keen, to be great and strong enough to let go what is there. And right understanding, understand from the very beginning how much ignorance and how very little or very not subtle of clinging to it is there. So right understanding develops to understand what is there at different level too. When there is the understanding of that, which appears because it appears to be known, it appears well, but the self is still at moment of experience that unknown, because it clings to the all khandhas. The Vedana is there, not known yet, and the sanya and everything. That's why it takes quite a long time to be truthful to the truth, to understand and see lopa, which lead to wrong kind of thinking, even attention or intention to just understanding this at that very moment is not the path. So Panya has to understand everything so clear, so firm, to let go what is there. That's why there are so many degrees of understanding. Without intellectual understanding, very keen, very strong, it's impossible to condition moment of directly understand what is there with direct awareness of an object at a time. But even so, in the beginning, so many objects as before still there, because it does not appear well enough yet. This is the way to see the Buddha when there is the moment of understanding the truth of what is there now. Because Buddha is wisdom, great wisdom. And a no Buddha is anyone who listens to the truth and develop right understanding to experience what Buddha had experienced, but not as much panya as him at all. So just understanding what is there now from his word of truth about it. What is there which cannot experience an object, and what is that which now experiences that very object rapidly arising and falling away. And that can be discerned, can be penetrated, because it's so true, but it's so very deep down underneath the skin, which we are talking about, that which appears. So learn to understand the reality and no doubt about the word, because he thought about each word as what it represents, like doubt. The characteristic of it is now appearing. So when there's the hearing about that word, there can be the understanding that he thought about this very moment.
So eventually, most jeta seekers will be known, or mostly only the ones that appear strongly. I mean, there are jeta seekers that seem really distant, and so it's been interesting the last couple of weeks, because last week I think we talked about Chanda, which and now this week Wichigicha. So I'm not sure, but it's good to know. I mean, I hear you often say to develop understanding about what appears. We talk a lot about seeing, but there's a lot of other things that do present themselves and then are gone. I mean, yes, seeing seems to be there all of the time. And even with seeing, you know, I was looking at trees this morning blowing in the wind, and I thought, well, I don't see movement. You only feel movement. So again, you know, that thing of to see just a visible object, it seems so far away, and it probably is in the sense of knowing it. But I guess, you know, you do remind us to just keep listening and listening to the Buddha's words. So maybe my impatience is showing. So
Is impatience a reality?
Impatience is a reality, yes.
So yourself, not known as it's there as a self. And what is the truth? The most important thing is, what is the truth? Why do we listen to the words about what is there now? To understand the truth of it. Just to understand. But when you wish to have more, you think that, oh, I lost my patience and so on.
Yes. But that's just a gusala thinking, isn't it?
Realities are there, but it's not known as it is. For example, this morning, did you like anything?
I did, yes. I enjoyed the walk I went on and the cool weather. Yes, many things.
But when they are not the object, do you like anything? For example, today, when you take food, breakfast, do you like something of the some food, some dish? Or you
Yes,
like all,
Achan. Yes, Achan, I did.
some or all?
Some, mostly papaya, because
See, some appears as like, but you find out what like is. But actually, it's the moment of liking something. It's there to be known, but it's not known. That's why one looks for some other thing, what it's like. But it's the liking, see, something. But before that, even just sitting on the chair, is there any like? It does not appear, right?
it doesn't appear. There's not great liking. It's just chai.
Right. There are many degrees of reality. For example, for like, just open your eyes in the morning, wake up. is that which cling to that unknowingly, to open one's eyes, that is a degree of that very moment wanting to do, not only attachment, but there must be intention too. That's why Buddha taught about whatever is there from moment to moment to be known as not self. And if we don't know what it is, it's impossible to understand that almost each moment there must be liking or attaching to something at different degrees, different levels. For attachment, see, even the food is in front, we just like something. And even just that food, the taste is different too, for different degree of life. And this is true. No one there at all. And everyone knows life as life, but not as no one. It's me, instantly all the time, by the accumulation of ignorance and attachment, years and years ago, as condition for such moment to arise. And the only way to let go the wrong understanding of self is to understand what is there as it is. Like it's life, it's conditioned by the accumulation of eons and eons to be attached to certain taste. Some like hot and some like sweet. See, by conditions, everything shows the truth of it as its condition, why some people like this and why some people like that. No one there at all. The accumulation of different experiences.
They're very good reminders, Ajahn. Thank you.
Even something that you like, in the beginning you might not like it at all, but when you have it more often, it changes from dislike to like, positively, by a condition. And what is that condition? Pakatupanisya, the natural way of being conditioned from accumulation more and more to becomes habit. By understanding this, there can be less attachment to take it for self at moment of hearing, but it's not strong enough because it's not at the very moment of understanding it when it's there, because even it's there, it's gone so very rapidly. It doesn't matter at all. That's the way it is. So what is there can be known until it appears well, until the arising and falling away of the nimitta appears, to have more confidence of the truth because it has experienced such manners of reality, the truth of it, arising and falling away. Otherwise, when Panya is not strong enough, it cannot let go the idea of self just from hearing and considering the truth at this very moment. That's why when it's developed enough, no matter what is there, it can condition moment of penetration, the truth instantly, as Sariputta and anyone who listens to the words of the truth, anytime, anywhere, all depends on conditions. That's why now it's conditioned for understanding a little more of what is there until it becomes to be Pakatu Panisya Pachaya, to understand whatever is there. Right understanding, understand clearer and clearer about what is meant by anatta, uncontrollable, or by conditions, no one there at all, no thing. Because as it is something, it can be object of attachment instantly. But when it's not as that thing, how can it be object of attachment anymore?
Could you say that again, please, Achan?
When there is the idea of something, it conditions attachment to that thing or object instantly. Do you like flower? See,
I like some flowers, yes.
what do you like in truth without the word flower?
Sorry. Pleasant feeling is what I really like.
You like everything. Is that the truth?
Not everything. No, some things I don't like.
Okay, but you like I, me.
Me, yes. Sometimes I like me. Sometimes I don't like me.
Really? But it's still you who dislike,
Yes.
whether it's known or unknown. It's there. That's why what is meant by enlighten the truth. See, the absolute truth as only that which is experienced through different doorways, that's all, and then gone. So what's the use of just being born and have many pleasant moments and everything, and then gone? What for? Just to arise to be that. No more from life to life. Is it not true?
Yes, it's true. It's what I've understood from the Buddha's words and from what you've passed on to us from the Buddha's words.
But it's still strong enough to be you and things, because not experiencing the absolute truth through any doorway. Because now there are different doorways, the sense door and the mind door, unseparated when there's no understanding about just one at a time. And even one at a time, when there's no understanding clearly about the truth of it's there as it is, it's impossible to let go the idea of something and I, and that is ignorance. So right understanding is different from ignorance. It begins to understand the truth and be truthful to the truth without the truthful to the truth as part of me. It's impossible to have more understanding of letting go. Because letting go is not anyone, no one. But the moment of understanding itself, it let go ignorance and attachment little by little, because it's so enormous ignorance and attachment eons and eons ago conditioned this moment of being attached instantly from what is there experienced. That's why it takes time, kanti, with virya, to see the value, the most precious thing in not just this life, in samsara, to understand the truth. That's why Panya is considered as the best of all conditioned realities, the most precious moment to understand what is there as it is. So true, each word about the truth of this moment. That's why seeing the benefit, the value, the precious of understanding, conditioned moment of thinking, considering, to understand what is there as it is, even not now, but when time comes, when there's enough condition, no one can stop the arising of directly experience the truth to whatever degree by conditions. As the time, in the time of Buddha, Sariputta and other disciples, different life, different experiences, different level of understanding. Even right now, it's exactly the same. Thinking about no more words about the truth. What is there? Ignorance, or the accumulated on and on and on.
Ajahn, I have a question. May I ask, please?
Yes, please.
If you're saying, if I open my eyes and I always see objects in front of my eyes, and if I see something in front of my eyes, that means I have an attachment to the object.
Do you know?
If I've got, if I say, if I don't see anything, if I say I don't see the object in front of my eyes, it sounds like I'm blind as well.
Really?
Because there's an object in front of my eyes, so I can see it. And if I say I see it, that means I've got attachment to it. So then I say I don't see it, that sounds like I'm lying.
What is
You
true?
know what I mean? So I'm a little bit confused there. Could you please explain that? Thank you.
What is seeing? See, we have to come back to this moment too, because seeing, no matter when and where, what is it has to be the way it is. So what is seeing?
You see color, you see shape and form.
Do you have to call it anything?
No, you don't have to say it yet.
Even it's dark, can it be the object of seeing when you turn off the light?
No, can't see. Yep.
Can you see darkness?
Yes. Yes.
Because whenever seeing arises, what is seeing? It is that which experience, that which impinge on the eye base. See, is it true? Without the eye base, can there be seeing? Without the object which impinge on it, can there be seeing? Pakatu panisya pajaya.
No. Without those no eyes base, no object, cannot see. Yep.
So no matter what way it appear, whenever there is seeing, it sees that. And that has to impinge on the eye base too. Otherwise, seeing cannot arise at all.
That's right. Yes.
But it's not known as no one sees. It's a moment of that which can experience and is conditioned, but we don't know at all the far cause and the near cause for seeing to arise. Why someone sees pleasant object and the other see an unpleasant object? How come? Who arranged it? Who conditioned it? Not at all, but by one condition, the Dhamma. See, so there are conditions for everything to arise, unknown until the enlightened one has enlightened the truth of all realities. All is all. So at moment of seeing, there can be a little bit of understanding. It is conditioned. When there is hearing, it's conditioned. The pleasant sound or the unpleasant sound by conditions to understand that what it's meant by anatta, no one and no thing at all.
Yes. I think I understand a little bit now. Thank you.
So Tam, at the moment of seeing, it just sees what is visible at that moment, no attachment, but still that which is visible is seen. But the attachment follows so quickly afterwards, even in the idle process. And what Ajahn was saying to Azita is whenever there's the idea of something like flowers or someone, there has to be attachment at those moments of taking it for something, at any moments of wrong understanding. Attachment is there instantly at those moments. But even without the wrong understanding, the attachment follows so quickly, clinging to what is seen, clinging to the different colors, the different objects. And when it is something, then the attachment is stronger. But that doesn't mean that seeing is blind. That moment of seeing, it clearly experiences the object just as it is, but no attachment at that moment of seeing. But afterwards, the attachment comes in so quickly. And when thinking about what is seen, the attachment is stronger and stronger. And especially when it's the idea of something or someone. So even hearing the word flowers, thinking of flowers as existing, attachment immediately.
Yep.
Because
thank
of
you very
thinking
much,
about
Sarah.
the sound that is heard.
Yes, I understand now. Yes, thank you for clarifying. Yeah, it's very good. Thank you. I still have a little bit of confused regarding about the seeing, but different one. For example, like if there is an object in front of my eyes and I can see it, because I have the eye sense and I have the object. But if you're saying it's not me, it's not I, so there's an eye sense there. There's an eyes there. If there's no eye sense, then cannot see the object. So what I see is different from what you say, yes, because of the eye sense. I'm a little bit confused. Thank you.
As we were discussing, for each reality, for each moment of seeing, there are different conditions. If there was no eye sense, then the visible object, that which is seen, couldn't impinge. And if there was no karma in the past to condition that seeing, no seeing could arise. So many different conditions for each moment of seeing. And any moment of seeing just has the function of just experiencing the object clearly. But this moment of seeing is different from the seeing yesterday, and it's different from the moment of seeing in the future. But each seeing has the same function and experiences whatever visible object it is clearly. So we can talk about your seeing and my seeing and anyone's seeing, but in truth, there is just the reality of seeing. And the eye sense actually is not my eye sense or your eye sense or anyone's eye sense. It's just that rupa which arises and falls away instantly. So each eye sense is different from each other eye sense, also conditioned by karma. So the eye sense in the dog is different from the eye sense in a bird, or is different from the eye sense in a human, but still human, each one conditioned by different karmas. But still, it's just eye sense, just that rupa which arises and falls away. It doesn't belong to you or the bird or anyone, because there is no you or bird or anyone. It's just a manner of speaking only.
All right, thank you. I thought that because this eye sense belong to this body, so there is a body there. But in Dhamma, you keep saying there is no body, but there is an eye sense there, belong to that body.
When you say that body, what is that body in reality?
Is I, you is the body. You know, the eyes, the ears is part of the body.
When you say it's part of the body, apart from the eye sense which arises and falls away, and the ear sense and the different rupas, is there anything else that is the body?
Legs and arms, head.
Is there a leg in reality, or a head in reality, or a body in reality?
Because the body consists of the head, the arms, the eyes, the ear, the nose.
What is this body that consists of these things? It's like saying, is there a tam-tan in reality, a tam-tan which consists of all these things? But this is the illusion, this is the fantasy, because in truth, there is no body, there is no tam-tan that consists of anything. There are just these different rupas and different namas we've been talking about. So eye sense in truth is not part of the body. Ear sense is not part of the body. They're just different rupas which arise and fall away. That's why we cannot say I have eye sense or I have ear sense or the eye sense is part of the body, because they are just different realities arising by conditions and falling away. No body to be found. No
Thank you. I
arm
got
to
it.
be found.
Thank you. I've got it. Yes. Thank you very much.
That's why we have to hear and consider about different realities again and again, one at a time, because the deeply entrenched idea of body and arm and leg and being is so deeply rooted there, and the clinging to it is so strong. So we can see as soon as there's the idea of something, the arm or the leg or the body is existing, loba, attachment, is there, clinging to that idea.
Yes. Thank you. I got mixed up because I always thought because of the eyes, the eye sense is inside the eyes. So when there is a seeing, it impinges on the eye sense. So it has to go through the eyes, and the eyes belong to the body. I mean, and then in Dhamma, we keep learning there's no body. I said, it's still here, it's here.
How many
So now I
rupas,
understand.
how many rupas are there in total?
Rupas of what? Sorry.
Different rupas, how many different rupas are there?
28.
Like 28, like eye sense is one, ear sense is one. But the eye is not a rupa, the body is not a rupa. These are just ideas, concepts.
Thank
so
you.
in truth, there is no eye, no body.
Yes, thank you
So
very much.
apart from those 28 rupas, whatever else we think of as the body or the eye are just ideas we have, the somethings that we cling to.
Yes, today I'm completely understand now. Yes, thank you very much.
A little bit of understanding, a little bit. So it takes a very long time, aeons and aeons of the development of understanding for there to be complete understanding.
Yeah.
So little by little.
Thank you.
Sarah, a moment ago you spoke about eye sense. You know, the eye sense of human is different to the eye sense of an animal or something. But in reality, isn't this eye sense, it's a rupa and it falls away. So the next eye sense that arises, it's different to that last eye sense, isn't it?
It's
so
different.
each eye sense that arises in this body is different each time it arises, and it falls away, gone, never to arise again, but conditions another eye sense. Or
also
it's karma that conditions the eye sense, not the
yes,
falling
and the
away.
karma can condition many eye senses. So the karma that conditions these eye senses in this life is different from the karma that conditions eye sense in other lifetimes, in other streams of chittas.
Yes. So back to that the falling away of the rupa doesn't condition another rupa, does it? You know how we say jitta falls away and conditions another rupa, that's another chitta. That doesn't happen.
That is just referring to the anantapatya, just to the arising and falling away of chittas, each one conditioning next. The rupa, the eye sense, doesn't condition the next eye sense. Karma conditions the next eye sense.
Great. Yeah, that's good. That's cleared that up as well. And just Tan, I don't know if you've heard the story of the chariot. It's in one of the suttas. Do you know that story?
Maybe no.
Well, okay. Well, it's just like what Sarah has explained. You know, I don't know if it was the Buddha speaking to somebody, but the chariot is when it's broken down, you know, like the wheels, the axle, the pieces of wood involved in the chariot, when it's all pulled apart, there is no chariot. It's just the part. So that's similar to what Sarah was saying. Once the body, once we identify the rupa, say the eye sense, ear sense, namas and rupas, which we take for body, when those realities are seen, there is no body. Is that clear?
But there's a chariot there.
Well, once the chariot is pulled apart, it's just like a simile, I guess. Once the chariot is pulled apart, there's no such thing as a chariot. There's just the bits, or you know, it's probably better to use the body. Once the body is identified as namas and rupas, there is no body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you. I'm so happy I understand this, because I keep hearing Achan mentioning there's nobody, but I keep saying to myself, there's me sitting here listening to Dhamma, there's a body here. And who the teacher kept saying nobody, I couldn't get through. Yeah, but today I understand. It's really good. Thank you.
Well, there's those two realities, like this conventional reality, you know, we talk about us and books and pens and
yes,
and Achan, but then there's the Paramatta Dhamma, the real reality, and that just consists of namas and rupas, which arise and fall away, and which, you know, we're being reminded each week of those realities. There's no mention of me and you and bodies and cars and trees, but the realities that arise and fall away. So and I think this is why it's impressed upon us week after week, because it's very hard to grasp that in the first place, because it is something new that we've heard, and obviously we've heard it in the past, otherwise we wouldn't continue listening. But
very deep. Yeah,
it is very deep. Yeah, exactly. That's, the Buddha did say that his teachings were very subtle and very deep, but hang in there.
Thank you.
Can the body be seen?
I think that's a question for you, Tam.
Tam, can the body be seen?
It's only visible object, Sarah.
Okay. Can it be heard?
It's only sound. Yes.
Can it be smelt or tasted or touched? Can the body be touched?
No, it's just the smell, the hard and soft, or cold and hot can feel. Yeah.
So it can only be thought about, right?
Yes.
So if there's no thinking about the body, there's no body. So it's just the object of thinking, that's all.
But it's really hard, Sarah. I still can see my mom, my mother. I can
By
see.
thinking
Yes.
only, just thinking.
Yes.
If there's no thinking about your mother, then where is your mother? So it's just at this moment of thinking for an instant, just the idea of your mother, and then gone. Like thinking about flowers and clinging to idea of the flowers and then gone. If there's no thinking about the flowers, where are they? If there's no thinking about Ajahn, where is she? So actually, they're just the worlds of what is seen, heard, smelt, tasted, touched, and then thinking. So the thinking is real, it arises and falls away, but that which is thought about is just an idea, not the reality.
Yep, thank you.
So this is the world at this moment, just one world at a time, the world of what is seen, the world of what is heard, and the world of thinking for a moment, and then gone.
It's very,
Not
very
lasting
deep.
at all. Very
Very,
deep.
very deep.
Alberto or Tadao, do you have anything you want to bring up today? Or anyone else?
Yes, I have a question about chanda. What I'd like to know is how chanda is related with virya. And can we think about a situation where there is a strong chanda but very weak virya? Or in another occasion, situation where there is a very strong virya but very weak chanda. So I'd like to know how chanda interact with virya. That's my question.
So first of all, we discussed, I think, last week about how chanda arises with most citas. It doesn't arise with the 18 ahetuka citas like seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching. There's no interest in the object at those times. And it doesn't arise with the 2 mohamula citas. There's at the moment of ignorance without attachment or dosa. There's no interest in the object, but it arises with the other citas, with the sobhana citas, with the citas with lobha, with citas with dosa, taking interest in object. And virya, the virya arises with almost every citta too. It arises with all cittas except for 16 out of those 18 ahetuka. So it arises with all the other cittas, including the mohamula cittas. So usually they arise together, but they have different functions. So I think that usually if there's strong interest in the object, for example, if there's strong interest with strong clinging to the object or strong interest with strong panya, then usually the virya will be strong at those moments. But let's see if Ajahn would like to add more. Are you there, Ajahn?
Yes, sorry, I just turned on again. What are they now at moment of seeing? I asked about what are they? What are they at moment of seeing? Is that only seeing? Or they
Tadao,
are?
would you like to answer?
At the moment of seeing, there must be visual object, and after the moment of seeing, there must be lots of thinking about what we've seen.
Before thinking, just moment of seeing itself, it arises alone, or what are there with it? Unknown.
Mm.
That's why that can be known is only when it appears.
Yes.
That's why when we are talking about Chanda, we have to understand only Buddha could tell what moment many or some realities, depending on condition. So when we talk about Chanda, it means that there's no interest for seeing to arise. It has to arise because karma, condition, it's time to have result arise to be the result of karma. And when we talk about the result of karma, when at moment of seeing pleasant or unpleasant object, even there are other cetasikas, the reality which experiences condition it, but they do not appear to be known. So whenever chanda arise, who knows that only 18 citta and 2 mula citta, moha mula citta, do not have chanda arising by conditions. But after that, the other citta has to have chanda. But when it does not appear, how can it be known? So today, are you interested in painting?
No.
Can it be known or realized whether there is interest in painting or not? For me, I have no interest. But before that, there must be chanda, but not of painting. See, that's why so many realities are conditioned to arise together with citta, but they are not known until it appears. For example, wake up. There must be attachment and chanda to get up. Who knows? Without chanda, can there be moment of movement to stand up, to go this and that way at all? That's why only that which appears can be known. For example, I have no chanda for painting. I have no chanda for exercise and so on, see, games and so on. But when it's there, I know. So chanda can be known as like or attachment can be known. I like this, I like that. But it's me, even it's there, not known as it is, as no one there at all. But the point is that what is there appear today, all day, must be a reality, which is the object of experiencing. So when we talk about chanda, 10 cetasikas and the 18 cetasika, 18 citta, and include the 2 mohamula citta, do not have chanda by conditions. When karma is there, ready to condition seeing, seeing is there, no one can stop seeing. So all ahetuka citta do not have chanda at all. But when after that, there can be chanda with citta.
Yeah, here,
And is there now chanda to listen to Dhamma?
here I'm thinking about wholesome chanda, which I'm wondering whether to what extent chanda contribute to the development of sati and panya. Is it vidya or more like chanda? Is my question.
How many dhammas are bodhipakkhiya dhamma altogether? Without chanda to understand the truth, can there be moment of listening carefully to understand it?
No.
So it's known, is it known? It does not appear to be known, but it's there.
Mm.
So all cetasikas, depending on whether it's there to be known or not. For example, I like this very much. Even like is there, so strong. but it's not known as it is, as not me, but it's there. So in the day, there are moments of whatever appears as the object unknown as no self. But the truth is that no matter what in a day, in one's life or any life, no self at all, no thing at all, only different realities arise to be the object of experiencing, and even the experiencing, there's not only citta, there are different citasikas too. They are not known as no son, no one, no thing. It's known wrongly as I and thing all the time. So study the truth from whatever is there appearing, whether it's there or not, who condition or who can make seeing to arise. No one. It's there already while we're talking. There must be seeing all around all the time. How come? Ignorance of the arising and falling, only one object at a time. So the truth cannot be changed. But Panya begins to understand and let go the idea of something because it attains to the characteristic which experiences or that which is the object. For example, a table cannot impinge on the eye base, but what is seen? So what is meant by what is seen? Just be seen how tiny it is that can impinge on the eye base. And when it rises and falls away continuously, it forms up the shape and form of something to be taken, to be known as panyati, because of the nimitta of that which arises and falls away. No one, no thing, no at all. Only different color continues to appear as different shape and form, to be taken for something. And is it not true? Can see the whole bed, window, curtain, basin, and whatever is there. Impossible. That's why there is the beginning of understanding the truth of the experience can experience only one object at a time, no matter what are there together, like the four primary rupas and the other rupa arising together with it. What can be known is only one, heat, hardness. See, that's why only one object at a time can it be thing or something with shape and form. Impossible. But the arising so rapidly, succeedingly, condition the moment of seeing the shape and form of that which is seen so very quickly to form the idea of something to be known, panyati, as what it is, by nimitta of it, different nimitta. So at that moment of seeing, and the 18 chittas do not have chanda arising by conditions. It cannot have chanda. It cannot select. It cannot have interest to this and that because it has to arise to be such. Seeing, sampatichana, santirana, and so on. The 18 chittas. But after that, it depends on accumulation. To have chanda, get up to do what? See, there is chanda to do, and also when it's akusla and when it's not moha mulajita, it is lopa mulajita, unknown because it's so very, very subtle as aswa, but it's there. That's why the development of right understanding of the truth will eradicate also asava and anusaya because of understanding the truth as it is, little by little. That's the way to wear away the ignorance, attachment, and wrong understanding together at level of sopanna. But there are still conditions for other things that right understanding knows exactly, precisely as that are still conditioned for those to arise. Those have to arise at time when it's ready for conditions to condition that such level of reality, no matter it is lopa or dosa or right understanding. So one can understand the reality which is there but is taken for self. In truth, it cannot be self, but it has that characteristic to be known, to be interested in cooking, to be interesting of telling or whatever. So we can understand Chanda. You might not like that, but you have interest in that. A little, very little interest. But whenever there is Lopa, there must be Chanda to have such Lopa too. Lopa to play golf, Lopa to do this, Lopa to play piano and so on. And Chanda is there too. Why not other musical instrument?
Yeah, here I'm thinking more conventional terms. And when I say chanda, I'm thinking only about kusala chanda. And when I say virya, I'm saying only about wholesome virya. And also, I do not understand how kusala, virya, kusala, chanda, and saddha interact with each other for the development of satya and panya.
That's why we learn to understand different chati of Dhamma, Chitta, Chittasika. That's why Chanda can be Kusala, Akusala, and Vipaka, and Kiriya, depending on the Chitta, which is conditioned to arise.
Yeah, my focus is on kusala chanda.
Kusala Chanda, to understand the truth.
Yeah,
Akusala Chanda, no interest in understanding the truth at all.
yeah.
And
So-
to understand the truth, it's impossible without the interest, the kusala, chanda, taking interest in understanding, like now, listening to the Dhamma for a long time. Without chanda, impossible to keep listening and developing understanding. So chanda must be there in order to listen and consider and develop understanding. And it also takes a lot of patience, a lot of virya to listen. So there has to be that virya, which is, as you mentioned, a bodhipakya dharma and fact of enlightenment. So it takes a lot of patience right from the beginning to the end to really understand the truth about realities, that there's no body, no arm, no leg, that there are just these different realities, nothing belonging to anyone. So all these factors have to develop together with understanding. So without the different paramis of Kanti and Virya, there couldn't be the development of understanding. And without chanda, without interest in the truth, as opposed to interest in the objects of lobha as usual, then how could understanding develop?
And also with regards chanda, Tadao, I'm thinking that these are very subtle dhammas. You know, I appreciate your question because, and listening to other people, listening to others' answers on this matter, the difference sometimes between chanda, lobha, virya, which will often arise at the same time, well, I imagine actually mostly at the same time, are very difficult to tease out even intellectually sometimes. I remember reading, I think it was Nagasena, talking about this. We only know about these realities because of the wisdom of a Samma Sambuddha, and that's profound and very difficult or impossible to comprehend. But he gave the analogy once of going into the great ocean, and when you're far out in the great ocean, you dip your container into the great ocean and you bring up the water and you're able to say this water comes from the river Ganges, this water came from that river, this water came from that place. For anybody else, it would be impossible to identify these different Dhammas. Yes, wisdom, we know, potentially is able to do that. I suspect at a very high level of wisdom. I think the questions you ask are good ones, because it can help sometimes to appreciate the subtlety and the incredible sophistication of Dhamma. But these areas are difficult to tease out, even intellectually sometimes. But we've had some good answers, and I appreciate your question.
Hi, Sundara. That is a discourse which I do not like, because that discourse implies that it's not possible to discern individual chittas and cetasikas. So I don't like that discourse.
Okay, I didn't quite hear all what you said, but it sounds like you didn't find it so helpful. That's okay.
I think it was interesting that Ajahn mentioned that Chanda is interested in even the object that one doesn't like. And that makes me think of situations like when one keeps thinking about something that makes one angry, for example. So that it's Chanda that keeps being interested in that object of anger. Can we say that?
Yes, definitely. Or when one's just even a little bit irritated about something, but one keeps obsessing about it. Chanda, taking an interest, not letting go at all. So every moment of dosa, Chanda is there, taking an interest in that object.
Yes, very, very insightful. Thank you.
Yeah, about last week or 2 weeks ago, when there was a discussion on Chanda, after that discussion gave me a lot of energy. I'm just saying in a conventional term, yeah. Yes, Chanda is very important. So I'm very encouraged by that discussion. We still have some time, so I have a different question. Recently, there was a discussion on Chuti Chitta in Kunstin's Thai talks on the internet, and it's about Chuti Chitta. There are 3 aramanas: Kamma aramana, Kamma nimitta aramana, and Gati nimitta aramana. I think I understand what Gati nimitta aramana, but I do not understand what Kamma aramana and Kamma nimitta aramana. That's what I'd like to know.
I think the karma aramana refers to any, for example, any sense object that is a result of, from karma that has conditioned the seeing of the visible object now. So the visible object is an object that is karma aramana, and the karma nimitta is the sign of it when thought about, the sign of that, of the visible object or the sense object that is experienced. That was because of the experience having been conditioned by karma. But Ajahn may add more, or we may have to continue next time.
Okay.
Ajahn, would you like to add a little more?
In the day, do you ever think about what you have done?
Yes.
And this can arise at any moment when time comes, right?
Yeah.
Not at the process at all, but
Mm.
after the process.
Oh.
That's why it's just have the same object as Patisanti
Mm.
and Pavanga,
Mm.
and the object of this is just only that. It comes suddenly, unknown. It
Oh.
just fall asleep, but it's not sleep. It's death, the end of that life.
Yeah.
But exactly the same.
Mm.
That's why before that, what is the object that Chitta experiences? It can be a moment of thinking about what one has done before
Mm. Mm.
this year or other year or whatever. And that is Kamma,
Oh.
because it think of Kamma. But Kamma Nimitta, it can be what is taken as the what you call that to condition such Kamma. It can be the pistol, it can be whatever as the nimitta of
Oh.
such Kamma, but not directly Kamma. Just think about what is there to use to form that action. And that is Kamma, nimitta of the Kamma. And
Oh.
even right now, after seeing, there can be death. And that is Kamma nimitta of that very moment too. And Kati nimitta is not known at all in this life.
Yeah.
Even you think about heaven or what. But when time comes, who knows? It can be moment of what is there as the object of nimit of Kati to be the object of Chitta before death,
Mm.
to be object of the Patisanti Chitta of next life.
Mm.
But it doesn't matter at all because it's not time yet. And when time comes, no one knows at all. Just like this moment, many processes of experiencing an object unknown at all. What
Mm.
is known as the object is only what is seen and heard and so on through the five senses and the mind. That's all in life. While there are so many things arising and falling together with Chitta and the Rupa unknown, like Jivit Tindriya, Cetasika, or Jivit the Rupa. See, unknown, but it's there. That's why the object must be through the sensor and the mind in this life. While there are so many realities arising together, follow it together.
Mm. Okay, thank you very much. Very clear.
It's not to think about, I think, because who knows when will this moment, it can be now.
Yes.
No time to think whether it is Kamma or Kamma Nimitta or Kati Nimitta.
Ah. Yes, yes. Thank you.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
You and
See you next time.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
กราบเท้าท่านอาจารย์ค่ะ